Yeah.
It is the 8th of November. This is Rabbi Furst. Parsha Hashavua Rashi Lecha.
Okay. Thank you. Who mentions Rabbi Shalom Furst here? She was enough for you. Here Zoom. As Rabbi mentioned, here is Shabbos. Parsha Lecha. Shonim Tufshin Pei. Hey. Okay. So if you'd like to direct your attention, a lot of things to talk about in this Parsha, but I'd like to concentrate on one particular aspect in chapter Yud Zion, chapter 17, Pasuk Zion, by Shvi.
17.
Yud Zion, what was the pasuk again, please?
Zion.
Pasuk Zion, which Pasuk 7. Where's Pasuk 7? Chapter 17, 7. Right?
Right. That's correct.
So what have I got here? I've got 15. No, 14. 15. 16. 17. 7. Okay. Now where is 7? Oh, I see. 7. That's the start of Shavi too.
Exactly. Very good. That's right. Okay.
7, 7, 7, all sevens.
17:7. Okay. Who would like to begin by reading the Pasuk and then take a look at Rashi?
All right, I'll read it. That's right. Hakim si es verisi v'nei uveinecha uvein zaracha acharecha lirason livris along the yels lecha le'ohim ulazaracha acharecha waiting as, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee throughout their generations, for a covenant forever, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee.
Now, what could this possibly mean?
That our agreements are irrevocable.
That's right.
All through the generations. What I've said for you goes to yours as well, because you're all from one root.
Right. So this is irrevocable for all generations, forever and ever. But now, so what was this agreement?
The covenant.
That's what I'm going to try. I want to try and understand what is this agreement all about.
Was it one made to Abraham about the seeds, like the sand, like the sand on the shore and the stars in the sky? Is that the covenant?
Well, that's not mentioned over here, right?
That's not mentioned. That what?
That point is not mentioned over here. was mentioned previously in the other parts of the Parsha, right?
Oh, right, okay.
But
So that's been covered already.
well, it could be covered, but whether that's considered to be a bris, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
As you yourself mentioned, a bris is a very special type of an agreement, right? Irrevocable.
Mhm.
Well, if we go back to the beginning of the chapter, I think it explains. It says, "Walk before me and be perfect, and I will set my covenant between me and you."
Right.
And then it says, "This is my covenant with you. You shall be a father of a multitude of nations. Your name shall no longer be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. Um, I will make you fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and I will uphold my covenant with you." So I think that's the answer to your question.
But what was the actual covenant?
That he has to walk before Hashem and be perfect.
Is that a covenant?
That's his part of the deal. That's what Abraham has to do. And then Hashem says, "This is what I'm going to do."
All right. Let's take a look at Rashi. Oh, hold on. Let's take a look at Rashi.
Mm. All right, 7, Rashi, Zion, Avapish, Vasoch, Lesodor, Lechador, Ninok, is that right? Ninok, Lichnashin, Umalakin, Ushalatin, Ba'ama Maya, Monech, Yifkon.
Let's
No,
see.
that was the one before that. That was Bob.
But
Yeah, right. This is
yeah,
Zion. Sorry, I got.
we need Zion, right?
Yeah. Well, it's very small letters there, and they all look the same.
I
Anyway, but Akam became Yas Kime beyond. Oh, no, Bain. Oh, Bain. Mimari. Uchinoch. Uvain. Benach. Beisarach. Lerayun. Lik Yom. Olam Lamacha. Lech. Lelasa. Believer.
what's it, Roy? Where are you reading again, please? I just want to catch. I want to make sure we're
Zion.
Zion in Rashi, right?
Yes. Mm. The last few words, Lala Ho, Livenoch, Beisarach. No translations? I don't know what it
Yeah.
means. And I will establish my covenant. And Rashi asks, what is this covenant? I don't know if Rashi asks, but the editor does. What is this covenant? And we say here, to be a God unto thee. Just a moment. And I will establish my covenant.
Now what? Now
It
that
doesn't
makes it even more difficult. What does that mean?
well,
Rashi's obviously the questions we were asking, like, what is this bris? Rashi's asking this question, what is this bris? Doesn't seem to be clear enough from the psukim itself, Rashi's asking the question and he's giving an answer.
Well, a covenant is an agreement between two people, or is it just what one person or one entity in this case promises to do?
Well, I mean, well, at this point, it's coming from the perspective of the Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Okay.
Avram is passive here at this point, right?
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at is that there's no there's only Hashem is only promising one thing, but it doesn't. There's nothing for us to do.
Exactly right. That's one of the points. So far at this point, it's only one way. It's from a Kadosh Baruch Hu's point of view or obligation.
Well, that's why I asked: is a covenant? Can you make one person make a covenant, or is it a two? Would you need two or more people?
I'm not 100% sure. In general, it's usually conceived of as being a mutual agreement of sorts, right?
If Abraham accepts this, it says, okay, that's a good idea. Thank you very much, Hashem. Then he's agreed to what is implied by having a God. So it would be what's implied by Hashem being your God. So that would be a two-way covenant.
Right. And so so I'm just that's going to lead us to the next stage, the next point. What does that mean that Hashem's going to be to Avram and his offspring to be to him a God?
What? What are you asking again? What? Could you ask the question again?
What does it mean that Hashem's going to be for a God? For Hashem's God, Hashem doesn't have to make a bris that he's going to be God. The God is God.
But as we say all the time throughout the Torah, that we anthropomorphize. There you are. We anthropomorphize Hashem.
Yes.
So this might be such an instance to make it clear to us what is meant. The parameters of who's who.
I'm not sure. Do you happen to have a Chumash Devarim nearby?
A Chumash what?
Devarim. the fifth book of Moses.
Yeah.
You look there. You look there in Pasuk. Excuse me. Perek Chaf Vav, Pasuk Yud Zayin.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, you're not. Oh, it is recording. Six, 20, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Okay, so what are we saying?
That's in Chaf. That's in Chaf Vav.
Half of, that's
20,
27,
26,
26,
chapter 26, verse 17.
26, verse 17. That says in English, you have distinguished Hashem today to be a God for you with all your soul. No, that's the wrong line. You have distinguished Hashem today to be a God for you and to walk in his ways and to observe his decrees, his commandments, and his statutes, and to hearken to his voice. This day, what day was that?
Okay, that's I think the day that Moshe Rabbeinu was talking to Klal Yisrael about this.
Mm.
That's the same point that's being made. Meaning, but here we are establishing. Moshe Rabbeinu was talking to Klal Yisrael at the end of the 40 years when he's about to now leave this world, and Yeshua is going to take over from him. They were going to soon afterwards enter into Eretz Israel. And he's saying, well, you now have made that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is a God for you.
And was this so before, or just taken for granted and not ratified as it is here?
Well, this is the other part of the bargain. This is from the perspective of Klal Yisrael.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't looked into it further, close enough to know and understand if this is in fact a fulfillment of our part of the bris. Possibly it is. Quite possibly, this is a statement of Moshe Rabbeinu verifying the point that now Klal Yisrael has verified and kept their part of the bris.
I think I'm not too sure at the moment, but before it really happens, would you be able to state our problem again before I completely forget what we're after?
Okay. First point based on the Rashi that explaining to us what is this bris. The first question was what is in fact the bris, which Rashi himself is asking that question. And so it's obviously not clear, right? Just a open, clear reading of the Chumash would not reveal to us what the bris that's being referred to is all about. And so Rashi asks the question, what is the bris? And he answers that it's going to be that Hashem's going to be for us a God, right? The God. So the question is, well, that seems a bit. I mean, isn't that you need a bris for that? A Kadosh Baruch is God in all cases, right? You need a bris to establish that. What's the point?
Okay.
Right. So that's not clear. That's not clear. And now, so we went to Devarim, and we seem to see that there's a corresponding reference by Rosh Rabbeinu to Klal Yisrael. But
So what's the
I'm
word?
still unclear what's the practical. I'm trying to now understand what the practical ramifications of a Kadosh Baruch Hu being um, our God now, and that there's a bris that's necessary for this.
What is the word for covenant? I mean, if I say in ordinary language, he's made an agreement with me, he's made a covenant with me, to do this or that or whatever. What word would you use?
But I mean, I think that's the word bris. The bris is that what they refer to as usually the covenant. And it's a solemn agreement. No.
Okay, so that means that the word bris, we all of us sort of automatically think of a bris with sort of cut here, a cut there. That's your bris, but that's not necessarily a bris. That's not. It can mean other things as well, like a very tight agreement, a very just simply a contract, an irrevocable contract. It doesn't have to have a mohel.
Right. Oh, right. So you need what's the point of needing this extra agreement? There seems to be an extra emphasis to make this extra agreement binding, right? And that's also it's also so to speak binding on behalf of a Kadosh Baruch Hu as well.
Well, if we're used to making agreements, this is an extra layer, because it makes it more noticeable than just saying, yes, I promise to do this. I really promise to do this.
Just say that last point again.
We're used to making agreements, but so they're not necessarily noticeable. Oh, I promise to do this or that, and then it goes by the wayside. But if you say, I really promise, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my might, I really promise to do this or that. That's that's a noticeable agreement. It's an extra layer of responsibility. So that's what
Right.
here.
Okay, but I think in a certain way you're kind of reinforcing my question. That's if you're talking about that there has to be certain things have to be done, certain things have to be accomplished. There's a certain um, uh, agreement which needs to be ensured and ratified and fulfilled, right? So, but when I try and fit those um, details into what Rashi's saying, that the bris is that Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to be our God, right? So, I mean, whether there's a bris or not, that is the fact, irregardless if there's a bris or not.
Mm-hmm.
Does the question I'm asking make sense to you? You're understanding the question I'm asking? The Kadosh Baruch Hu, Rashi is saying the bris is Hashem is going to be our God. Okay, but even without the bris, doesn't that exist anyway?
Um,
Well, yes and no, because it is a fact that Hashem is God. I agree with you there, but Hashem says all these things I'm going to do. I'll give
Such as
you the land of your sojourns, the land of Canaan. Hashem says a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to do. If we look in Devarim, where you pointed us, it says, I'll make you supreme over all the nations, for praise and renown, splendor. You'll be a holy people. It tells us what Hashem's going to do. So he's saying, I'm going to be a God and I'm going to do all this stuff.
right.
the rabbi is saying, yeah,
Okay.
he's going to do this anyway. This is he don't need to make a brit or bris or a covenant over that.
He does. He's saying, I'm going to do this stuff and you're going to do this stuff. That's what a government, that's what a bris is. There's agreement on each side. Each party agrees to do X, Y, and Z.
Why does God have to? I think, is that the question, Rabbi?
That's part of the question, correct? Yes. Yeah.
I don't understand. What is the question? Why does God have to do that?
Well, why does he do that?
He says, I want you to do certain stuff, and in return, I'm going to do certain stuff.
Maybe he's setting an example of responsibility. He's setting a level of how far you have to go with him.
Okay. All right. So I'll tell you what. Let's go back to our Bereshis Yud Zayin Pasuk Zayin. Let's just read Pasuk Ches Tes Yud. Because those are the things which I think are now going to be those things which are incumbent upon Abraham and his offspring.
So, are we reading 7 again, or what?
You don't have to read 7 again. You could start with 8.
Start with 8. Where's 8? Zayin, Ches, Tes. All right. So 8. Venosati, is that right?
Yes.
Venosati lecha virecho acharecha es es eretz megurecha es kol eretz Canaan lachazes olam v'hayisi lahem Leilahim. And I will give unto you, unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land of thy sojournings, all the land of Canaan for a possession forever, and I will be their God. What's this last part mean?
So that's what Rashi says here, right?
Right.
So Rashi's preempting the pasuk over here. Isi lehem lelukim. Isi lehem.
So Rashi says in 7, and what is this covenant? To be a God unto thee.
Right. That's Rashi's preempting this statement. So
Rashi 8, I'll read what Rashi 8 says.
yeah, please go ahead.
I'll read it in English, I think, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you could read it. Yeah.
Lechem olam, for an everlasting possession. It's being dealt with that phrase. And there I will be your God. But whoever resides outside the land of Palestine is as if he has no God. It's in Ketuvah, 110b. So what about Babylon?
So just to okay, go to the next pasuk.
9. Where is 9? And Hashem said to Abraham, you shall keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee throughout the generations, and you shall keep my covenant. Is he saying, is Hashem saying, you shall keep what I promised to do?
Right.
The results of that, the outcome of that, is on you. Is he saying that?
Right. Correct.
So what so whatever that involves, you and your generations throughout the generations will keep this. This is what I promise. So what's he saying? That my covenant is your covenant?
Well, that's what we've been talking about from the beginning. A covenant usually involves a mutual, irrevocable agreement and responsibility, right? So here it's being specified the responsibility of Avraham Avinu and his offspring. Oh, so I'll tell you, I see the Emek Dover. That's Emek Dover. goes into a bit about this, and he basically says that this, from the aspect of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, you see that this is Hashem is giving a promise that he will be his lashon is he's promising that Kadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, is going to be mashkiach upon Klal Yisrael.
What do you mean, Mashkiach?
So he'll be the word mashkiach comes from hashkacha. Hashkacha, he'll be watchful. He'll be watchful over Klal Yisrael.
Mm.
He's going to be watchful over Klal Yisrael, meaning, and with this, I think we can clarify the question we were asking. What does it mean that Hashem is going to be God for Klal Yisrael? Kadosh Baruch Hu is a Kadosh Baruch Hu in any event, whether there's a bris or there's no bris, right? But the answer here is that Hashem is going to be especially attentive to the needs of Klal Yisrael.
Mm-hmm.
That the expression which is used here also, Elokim is not the expression the Yud Kei Vav Kei, right? Hashem, right? Yud Kei Vav Kei, that's usually understood to mean and imply midas chesed, rachami, right? Where Elokim is usually understood to imply midas hamishpat, midas hadin, right? But it also involves a different aspect as well, which is even perhaps more significant. The word Elokim represents, as we said, din and mishpat, but it's and you think, well, that's not so good. That's not so good. But in fact, it happens to be extremely beneficial. Din v'mishpat. Din v'mishpat means, as the word Elokim is implying, because with the you take the letters of the word Elokim and it comes out to be the same word in terms of the gematria as the numerical totals of the word as teva, which or specifically the natural laws. Natural laws, right, are the mishpatim. Those are the laws of nature which the Kadosh Baruch has created, by which the universe functions in an orderly and specific way, right? So by using this expression, this name of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is making a bris, that Kadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, is going to be Elokim, as the Emek Dover explains, he's going to be watchful and, so to speak, personally supervise the needs of Klal Yisrael. So that's going to be part of the natural way of the world. The natural way of the world is that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is not simply going to leave Klal Yisrael to the natural way of the world. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is, with this bris, building into the fabric of the universe what we call the hashkacha pratis, the divine intervention in human affairs and history for the sake of the benefit of Klal Yisrael. And that's the point that's being made here. I think that the bris that's being forged between a Kadosh Baruch Hu and Avram Avinu and his generations, for all generations, is that now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is building into the natural laws of the universe and the history of humanity, the interaction between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his universe, specifically for the sake of Klal Yisrael. That specifically for the sake of Klal Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is making a bris, an irrevocable covenant that, so to speak, on his behalf, on his part, by his behalf, he is going to, at whatever times there be necessary, he will alter natural phenomena, he will alter history for the sake and benefit of Klal Yisrael, according to the way he deems it to be necessary and true. And so that's what I think it means here, that, yeah, it's true that even without the bris, Kadosh Baruch Hu's Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? God is God, whether there's a bris or there's no bris. So what's the added enhancement? What's the upgrade of having a bris? The upgrade of having a bris, the advantage of having a bris is that now Kadosh Baruch Hu has incorporated into the actual fabric of the physical universe the possibility, the potentials for his intervention for the sake of Klal Yisrael, according to the ways he's going to see fit that it should be done and accomplished. To accomplish what Klal Yisrael is destined to fulfill in this world, being the offspring of Avraham Avinu. Klal Yisrael, being the offspring of Avraham Avinu, have now a special purpose, a special mission to accomplish in this world. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in order that mission will be accomplished, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will intervene in history. He will intervene in natural phenomena for the sake of fulfilling that purpose that Klal Yisrael is now destined to fulfill. Okay. And that's going to be dependent upon the keeping of the bris, right? So now, let's.
What happens when we break the bris?
So that's good. That there's going to be that exactly what's going to happen. So we need to find out where those things are stated. There are open stated statements that we would. Most simply is the what we're talking about right here, right? That's pasuk yud, right? What is our part of the bris? Pasuk yud. Look at the 10th.
Yeah, I'll read it. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every male of you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise at 9/11, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, it shall be for a sign of a covenant between you and me. And right, it goes on about the details of doing it. And he says, if you don't, then you'll be cut off from your people. But Saul shall be cut off from his people, and is made void my covenant. So by you breaking your covenant, then Hashem has no more responsibility to you.
Right. Right. So that is our obligation. Our obligation is bris milah. Bris milah. That the bris milah that we're commanded to do, that Avraham Avinu was commanded to do, that's our part of the agreement that through our fulfillment of bris milah, we are now fulfilling what HaKadosh Baruch expects from us to do in order that he will do as he is promised.
Mhm.
You know, does Rashi say anything that's on Pasuk Yud?
Um, yes, between me and you. You is plural. Oh, that's right. We have you is plural and refers to all those belonging to Abraham who were then alive. And thy seed after thee, those who are yet to be born. I assume that's from that point of time. Where is it? And Hamul is an infinitive equal to the Hamol, just as you may say asos in a place of lasos, that is, infinitives may be with or without the lamed prefix. So there's a bit of grammar there.
Right, that's okay. Let's continue on. Let's continue on with the you just did Pasuk Yud and you let's say yeah, right Yud. Let's do the verses 11 and 12, even 13 as well.
All right. And you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and shall be the sign of the covenant between you and me. 12. At the age of 8 days shall every male of you be circumcised throughout your generations. And generations. He that is born in the house or bought with money of any son of an alien who is not of thy seed. That was 11, 12, 13. He that is born in thy house or bought with thy money must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for a covenant forever. 14. And the uncircumcised male who does not circumcise the flesh of his foreskin, that soul shall be cut off from his people. And he that made void my covenant, he hath made void my covenant by not being circumcised. And 15, and God said unto Abraham, as for Sarah thy wife, thou shalt call her name Sarah, but Sarah shall her name be Sarai, but her name shall be Sarah.
Okay. At this point, the Torah shifts to another point now.
Mm. The fact that most Jewish baby boys have a bris, that's nice, but most of them, I would venture to say, or a good many of them, it probably includes me too, don't don't think about it after that much,
Uh,
and don't realize what it's for.
um, yeah, that's true. It takes it does take there should be thought put into it for sure.
So,
Um, yeah, it shouldn't be taken for granted. It's an ice. The bris is an ice, something just like the Shabbos is an ice, Tefillin is an ice. There's several mitzvahs which are elevated to a special level of consciousness about that mitzvah that they're referred to as being an ice, right? It's a sign. I mean, sometimes there are mitzvahs that you do, and there's nothing, they're just actions, just behaviors. But here it's something which is an actual um, concrete entity, which is supposed to focus our attention on the meaning of the mitzvah, right? And yeah, it's something which a person should think about in some way, great or small, depending on his mental abilities. But yeah, if it's a bris, it's something Kadosh Baruch Hu wants us to pay attention to, right? And shouldn't take it for granted. I know that I think you may have mentioned I mentioned it. It's very. I know my father, Elber Sholem, when I was born. So my father was drafted a year or two before that into the American Army, and I was born on an American Army base, Camp Kilmer in New Jersey. So he was stationed there at Camp Kilmer when I was born, and my mother was Abba Shalom. She was there on base too. I guess they had some type of a living arrangement there on base for whatever reason. I don't know all the details, but so I was born in an army hospital. I was born in an army hospital. So the third day after I was born, my mother had gone to take to shower up, and at that time the policy was that they kept the babies in little bassinets next to the mothers in the mother's room. They used to keep them with the mother in the room, and they had their own little wheel things. So my mother comes back from freshening up, and the room's empty. Room's empty. Says, so I'm gone. I'm gone. So she looks here, she looks there, she looks down the hallway, and she sees the army nurse. I think she was a lieutenant. You don't just play around with army nurses who are lieutenants. So so she screamed down the hall, "Where are you going with my boy?" So she said, "Army policy is we do circumcision on the boys when they're 3 days old." Army policy. So she says, "No, this is a Jewish boy. You're not doing it to him now. We wait to the 8th day. Wait to the 8th day. We don't do it on the 3rd day." So that put an end to the army policy. So I had my bris on the 8th day, thanks to my mother. So
that's a bit cheeky, just walking in like that and taking the baby
well,
without
that's
saying anything. Chutzpah.
excuse me.
It's a chutzpah, taking the baby
Yeah.
out from the
Well,
quarters. We're typical Americans.
yeah, but it's army. It's army protocol. You're on base now. Uncle
Yeah.
Sam's in charge.
So,
So that's it. The Hashgacha Pratis, Baruch Hashem, the Hashgacha Pratis. Hakadosh Baruch was watching out that we could fulfill the mitzvah of bris milah. Baruch Hashem.
Okay, so
Yeah.
well,
Hashem.
anyway, I'm going now to have my breakfast. I just had a cup of coffee, but I'll have my cereal now before Rabbi.
Very good.
So have a good Shabbos.
Fine.
Rabbi
Good. I
Furst.
thank you both. I thank you, Lou. I thank you, Roy, very much, both of you. And I will be seeing you on Yom Rishon, Bezos Hashem.
I think so. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
If I'm
I
here,
think
I'm
so,
here. If
too.
I'm not here, I'm elsewhere. And if not, I'm
I
not
hope.
elsewhere, heaven help me.
Okay, be well. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
In any case,
What?
heaven should help you in any case.
Oh, man.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Be well. See you all.
Have a good show.
Thank you, Lou.
Bye-bye.
You too.